Viewer discretion is advised.
Out here in the Arctic, it's so difficult to survive. I just ran away from a 20-pound bear. This koala bear. They get really big sometimes, and you know, from a married person, I just want to share with the youth at Church Light of the World how to survive in the Arctic. If you guys go out to the snow, a lot of you may not know, but this here is actually what snow is, and we get it sometimes in the winter season in the Rocky Mountains here, and it's very difficult to survive sometimes. So I have a few quick tips that I learned from this online class that I took on Google search, and I'm gonna take you through some of those tips. Follow me. So one of the most difficult things in the Arctic is walking, especially in snow. And like you can see, this snow here is maybe about 20 feet deep, and so that's much taller than I am. But you don't want to sink in the snow, so you always want to look around your surroundings. You know, don't take off your shoes or anything, but you want to look around for maybe something that can work as a snowshoe. And there, you know, sometimes I keep these handy dandy tennis rackets with me, and these work as snowshoes here. And I like to keep them in cases because then they're preserved from, you know, all the cold, and you don't want your feet to be cold when you're walking. So after you pull out these walking shoe things, then you want to get rid of any extra weight. In this case, these are the cases, and I know somebody can say that you can use these maybe as a tent or something else, maybe to start a fire, but you want to get rid of any extra weight, and you want to get rid of it as far away from you as possible, just so that you don't think of something else to use it for. So I'm just gonna get rid of them as far as I can. And now when we put these shoe things on, the ancient natives used to say that these are called snowshoes, so for their sake we'll use that today. And so what you do basically is you make sure you match up your foot, and exactly these shoe things match up exactly with my foot. And then you want to check if you have anything to tie your feet to these shoe things, and you don't want to use your own shoelaces because then your shoes might look weird. So in this today I actually have some extra shoestring with me, but I forgot to bring the other one, so it's not going to really work for my left shoe. So if you don't have two shoestrings and you only have one, in that case, once again, you can just like throw these things away. And usually, if I don't have two shoestrings, I have some glue stuff called tape here. And let me see. So usually you want to carry some tape around with you, and I always like to carry one of these around with me because they're much more comfortable when you're actually taping things. And it has like a razor blade on here and everything, so you save a lot of time, especially if you're getting tracked down by a bear. They have really good sense of smell, and you want to do things fast. You don't want to waste any time. So here, as you see, I've found a spot to sit down. You always want to find a good spot like this one, where it's already pre-cut for you. These are always the best chairs to find when you tape anything. Here, the pre-cut chairs are made exactly for you to maybe sit, maybe stand, you know, to see further. So once you're done, like I said, you could start throwing things away that you don't need. So right now I don't need that. And now I'm going to take my journey. It's really difficult to walk in these snowshoes. So sometimes the tape comes off very quickly, and that's when you actually maybe think to yourself that you should have brought more tape. So after all that walking, you become very dehydrated, and you have to start looking for water. And it's so difficult to find water and anything drinkable around all of this white snow. And actually, what I like to bring with me is this special water finder. This thing is very rare to find. I like to always keep it in my pocket. So what you do sometimes is You get close to maybe a tree, because where the trees are, there's probably water, because that's the trees, they feed off of water. So around the trees, you want to stick this thing in the water or into the snow, and it allows you to look deeper. So the deeper you look in there, and I don't see any water there right now, so there's probably not any water right here, but you keep digging this thing in, and it helps you look beneath the surface. Also, the ancient natives used to believe that snow is a very good replacement for water. Sometimes it's very dangerous though, because you don't know which type of snow to eat. But right now I'm gonna try to look for some water, and it looks like I found some here under this tree, and it turns out it's actual natural mountain spring water, and it's very rare that you find really good water like this. And when you're thirsty, usually you just open it up and drink it, and it's very good for you. So, well, sometimes you don't want water, you know, you don't want to be mainstream, you don't want to be regular like everybody else, and you want some variety in the Arctic. It's very difficult to find variety, you know. But I want to tell all the youth out there, because you guys go to the cabins after New Year's, that sometimes when you see yellow snow, because the white snow is the very regular water snow, if you see any yellow snow, sometimes you come up and you want to taste it, and oh, look here, we found actually yellow snow. And so I look here, and it looks like it's drinkable and or eatable, and so I'm just gonna take a little bit of yellow snow and very good. And usually around yellow snow, you can look around and you might find some variety. Oh, perfect. I found the source of the yellow snow. It's very good to actually look around very deeply, because you might find some orange juice, and you don't always want to drink the orange juice, because this one has already been opened, so you don't know who else has been scouting for this. So like I said, if you don't care about sharing with anybody, you can have a little bit of orange juice. It's still very fresh, and I don't think anybody has gotten to it yet. It looks like maybe only one person, but that's okay. 1 or 2 people usually is pretty good. And sometimes if you have a Sharpie, you can write your initial on there with a tally mark by letting the other people know that you've already drank a little bit from it. So after you drink the orange juice, don't drink all of it, save it for some other people. You want to let other people know by making the snow yellow that there's orange juice there. So I'm going to pour a little bit more, just so people know that there's going to be some orange juice under here. And make sure you close the cap also, so that no bears get to it. You want to kind of hide it. I'm going to get a little bit more, because it's very good when it's actually in the snow. Very good. Also, after you drink it, you want to take your water and juice finder and put it back in your pocket. And also initial the, like I said, initial the carton with the Sharpie that you always want to carry around. And just put your initials with how many times you drank it. In my case, I just drank once. And then, once you see the sun is trying to set, so follow me here. You see that the sun is starting to set over the horizon there. And the way I know is, I learned a very ancient trick. If you see the sun getting very low, like next to the trees, most likely within 5 hours it's gonna set. Like right now, I'm trying to guess when it's gonna set. And there's also this one trick that you have to learn, is usually you can find, if you find water, you can dip your finger in, or you could even use your own saliva. So usually the wind pressure would tell you the time it's going to set. Like in our case, it's going to set maybe in like less than 5 hours. So we have less than 5 hours to prepare a fire. So now the hardest part in the Arctic is looking for firewood, because everything is wet. And so it's very hard to do this by yourself. That's why I want to teach you a very good lesson, is that don't put too much on your own shoulders. Try to get help from other people. And so the hardest part is finding other people in the Arctic to help you look for firewood. So that's what I'm going to try to show you now how to do. There's this very cool trick called the climbing of the trees. And I know it sounds scary, but it's really not that scary. Basically, it's all in the title. Literally, you just climb trees. So sometimes it's very hard finding a tree that's very tall enough to find other people. In our case here, we found a very big tree that's tall enough to scout for other people, and you could probably see them all the way on the horizon. So this tree here is huge, and I think I can get up it. So I think this is tall enough here, and I'm gonna try to look. Oh, there, I found some people there. So once you find the people, then you would kindly ask them to help you gather firewood. Like I said, it's very difficult to gather firewood by yourself. Thank you guys for being here for me.
We gather firewood. We are the fire gatherers.
So the ancient natives here that are local and indigenous to this area, you try not to offend their culture, but they're very good fire gatherers, and they find exactly the dry wood in this environment. And here there's a perfectly made pit already for the fire, and you see here that they know exactly how to throw it in where it's perfect for a fire making environment. And so then after they're done throwing it in, they kind of stop and watch you. So you have to make sure you're really good at making a fire, because it's one of the biggest things in this area. So usually I pull out this mirror I have with me. I like to always carry a mirror, and you want to find where the sun shines exactly right on the firewood. So I try to find a good spot. That's a pretty good spot there, and you try to find a place where it sticks. There it's gonna stick, and usually like you try to have stuff to burn with you, like starter wood. And in this case, this is a hanger. I don't want to burn it because just in case when I'm sleeping, I need to hang up my jacket. So I'm gonna put that one aside. And also, I like to carry tissues with me. That's a pretty good fire starter. So I might use a little bit of tissues. And it's really hard to start this with just the mirror, but I've gotten really good with it. So I also take out my lighter, and using the mirror, it helps you see the angle under the wood. So what I'm going to do here is throw in a few napkins. And I have a few napkins here. And using the mirror, you want to get down really low. And with the mirror has the sunlight right on the wood, you can actually see a better angle. And so you can just light. And you always want to bring a lighter that works. Sometimes if that one doesn't work, I always have a backup, a smaller lighter. So here I see the fire starting a little bit. It's taking a little bit of a while, and I get really nervous with all of these indigenous people watching me. So hopefully the fire starts any moment now. I'm getting very nervous because these indigenous people are experts in fire making. And all I did was take an online course, so I'm not all that good. I mean, you could say I'm pretty experienced, but you know, not like on a totally professional level. So here it looks like there's a little bit of a fire going, and so that's a good success. And after that, you're pretty much done in your survival skills. And sometimes, like right now, I'm on a very big hill and I need to get down. Sometimes I need a lift from these indigenous people, and they have these very cool sled thingies that they made at the store where they actually purchase them. And usually I just get a ride with them going down the hill and eventually get back to my transporting vehicle. So here we have one of the indigenous tribe people. They have one of these really cool sled things that they've purchased at the local store. And I'm going to hop onto a ride with him. And like the local folks say here, started from the bottom, now we're here. But like I like to add a little bit of a twist to it. Started from the top, now we're going all the way over there.
That's how I said something like that.
It's a hard technique to master, but it's doable. So here we switched roles with the survival expert, and now we're here with the fashion expert on what to wear in the Arctic. Of course you want to blend in, not stand out or anything. You want to blend in with the culture, you know. So you got your suit on just in case you meet anybody, so you can relate to them, maybe have a cup of tea with them, or even spit some seeds with them.